Presidential candidates in Ivory Coast have all accepted a new voter list for the much postponed election that is now scheduled for the end of October. VOA Africa correspondent Scott Stearns has the story.
Disputes over voter eligibility in Ivory Coast have been the biggest obstacle to an election that's been delayed 7 times since President Laurent Gbagbo's mandate expired in 2005. So all the candidates agreeing on a new electoral list is the clearest sign yet that this vote may finally take place October 31st. President Gbagbo joined his chief electoral rivals Alassane Ouattara and Henri Konan Bedie in approving the list drawn up by a new electoral commission. With a final voter roll in place, Prime Minister Guillaume Soro says the men agreed that this vote should go ahead as planned.
We
had to finish the stage of the final voter list, and I am happy to tell you we are all agreed on the definitive electoral list.
The Prime Minister says the men together agree that this vote should be held in a climate of serenity and tranquility. They're calling on the Electoral Commission to make sure the vote is organized so that all ballot papers and electoral documents are ready on schedule.
Nous avons demandé au président de la commission électorale indépendante.
We told the president of the Independent Electoral Commission and all other authorities involved to do everything they can so that the final list is available to the public this week.
The election is meant to end years of division in the once prosperous nation after a failed 2002 rebellion against President Gbagbo cut the country in two. Voters see the electoral list as an important first step toward reuniting the country and restoring Ivory Coast's lost economic power.
Given that all Ivorians are aware of all the negotiations and the contradictory debates surrounding this, I'm happy that the 3 deciding members in the future of our country gave their agreement to the Electoral Commission to display this list so that finally Ivorians can go peacefully to the elections.
7 months ago, President Gbagbo dissolved both the government and the Electoral Commission because he said more than 400,000 people were illegally registered to vote. Now, with much the same list, the ruling party has agreed to go ahead with the vote.
If they have truly agreed, they should respect the agreement, because it would be a pleasure for us to go to elections. We're thirsty for these elections. We want to go to the vote. We want to have elections. And if they respect their agreement, there won't be any problem.
Long-running questions of voter eligibility in Ivory Coast focus primarily on descendants of migrants from Burkina Faso and Mali. The president's supporters question their nationality. Opposition leaders say those objections are meant to disenfranchise people who are less likely to vote for the ruling party. Scott Stearns, VOA News, Dakar.